I can say this unequivocally. My ability to affect your life as a member of county council was much greater than it was in Columbia as your lieutenant governor. Local government is close to the people. It affects the people in a very direct and matter-of-fact way. And I'll be honest with you. Some of my elected official buddies may get aggravated when I say this. They like a disengaged voter. They love the casual voter. They like the fact that I say every day on Good Morning PD Live 95 that most people are watching Seinfeld. Why? Because there's not a high level of accountability. Now, some of the best people I know in this world serve an elected office in this community. They're diligent. They're hardworking. They care about the community. It probably isn't worth what they give to the effort, but there's some who don't take it very serious. And what they really enjoy is the fact that you don't take it very serious as the voter. They know they can kind of get away with what they want to get away with, do what they want to do. But understand this very clearly. Your local government has enormous effect over your life. I mean, the roads, the bridges, the schools in particular. I mean, think about how much money we spend on public education and how in the world anybody can legitimize the debate that we don't spend enough on education. I hear people in local government. I hear people at the state level, the federal level. We got to spend more money in education. No, we don't. We absolutely misallocate and misappropriate so much money in education. Public education, private education, that's another thing. That's their bill. I mean, that's their baby. It's not tax dollars. If they want to misappropriate or misexpend it, that's their baby. But public education is not underfunded. It is improperly funded. We go back to the teacher dynamic. Why do we call them the teachers? Why don't we call them the good teachers and the bad teachers? Let's take real good care of the good teachers, and let's do away with the bad teachers. But the apathetic voter basically gets what he deserves. And if you're apathetic, you don't engage, you don't pay attention, you don't care what happens, then you end up with a school board or a county council or a city council who don't do their job. And I think when you look at pockets and places in America where you have the most engaged voter, the most literate voter, the most informed voter, you have the best performing government. Because you as a voter, it's your responsibility, it's your obligation in our form of government to hold those people accountable. Nobody puts a gun to anybody's head, Rev, and says, give me that school board seat. Give me that county council seat. Give me that governorship. Nobody does that. That's illegal in America. And I'm not saying the process is totally fair. I mean, we know the advantage of incumbency. We know that one party in certain districts has an advantage over the other party in certain places and districts. But at the end of the day, we get the government we deserve. We get real frustrated. We get real aggravated, but we don't do anything about it. How many of you have ever been to a city council meeting? How many of you have ever been to a county council meeting? How many of you have ever been to a school board meeting? How many of you have ever been to a session of the South Carolina General Assembly? How many of you know who your city council member is? How many of you know who your county council member is? How many of you listening know exactly who your school board member is? How many people know who their congressman is? How many people in South Carolina know the names of both U.S. senators? We get the government we deserve, and we look at Washington, and we see the failures of Washington and the flaws of Washington. And Jefferson warned of this. Jefferson, in a lot of his early writings founding the country, wrote about the apathetic masses and the motivated few. And he believed if you centralized a lot of power and influence in a certain pocket and place of our government, the motivated few would take advantage of the apathetic masses. And that's exactly what has happened. There are several people or several pockets of people in our universe who have a lot at stake with the way Washington works, with the way Columbia works, with the way local government works. And those people are going to be informed because a lot of their livelihoods depend on it. The State House has a lobby for a reason. They got to have somewhere to keep all the lobbyists. That's the motivated few. Those are the people who aren't watching Seinfeld. They're keeping up very closely with how government functions and reacts, and they're not looking after you, the average man, you, the average woman, They're being compensated to do something different. It's not illegal. There's nothing wrong with it. But until the public become engaged, until the average American voter says, I want to know when the school board meeting is, and I want to be there, and I want to ask a few questions of you. You want to scare the daylights out of elected officials all over this county, all over this state, all over this country? Show up at meetings. Go to a school board. Let a school board bang the gavel and go in session, and there'd be 300 or 400 people out there with a 50 or 60 questions. Legitimate, smart, informed questions. You want good government? Demand good government. If you don't, keep watching Seinfeld. Let's take a break. Back after the break. I want to thank Palmetto Commercial Real Estate. Good morning, PD, Live 95.